Welcome to The Brain Dump, where we study the psychology of success. Join us as we probe the habits, rituals, and routines of top-performing artists, entrepreneurs, authors, athletes, and more to uncover the timeless principles we can all use to take our lives to the next level. Are you ready to plunge the grunge that's been gunking up your mind's eye? Great, then let's get to it.
Guys, welcome back to the Brain Dump. Guys, he's alive. We got him. He disappeared for a couple weeks, but
I was on my deathbed.
Come to the light, Anthony. We have more podcasts to record. So
no. I told you that when I was texting you, I was like, man, should I go towards the light? I see the light. Should I go towards it? And I meant it as in like going towards the light of heaven. And I think you took it to mean like, oh, you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you're like, go towards the light.
Well, you know what? Now you just changed. Now you just changed the topic. I'll save that one for another one.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
because that is my personality. So my personality is to go through things, right? And I was just talking to a client this morning, and he's struggling with working out. He's building 3 companies. He is sitting on millions from crypto, and his health took a back seat. And he asked me, he's like, listen, dude, I've never hired a coach before. I don't know what to do this. I don't know how to, set up anything. And I said, the things that you want to do, you're making them too complicated. You're saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. But ultimately it's about we only created 2 things, 30 minutes total. And he's done that 4 days in a row. And he's already changed his whole outlook on everything. And so one of my new things I'm on big time is the complexity versus simplicity.
I'm making some notes here. The complexity versus the simplicity. I'm a simple guy.
Yeah.
That's kind of my shtick, is like to try and make things as simple as possible. And yeah, we do tend to overcomplicate things. We want these like really fancy systems. We want to like have the whole system planned out to perfection before we even begin. Like, as you're talking though, like one of the things I was thinking about was that when it comes to like health and it comes to like whatever New Year habit, and this is like the perfect time of year to be talking about this because it's the beginning of the year. And so I think a lot of people are thinking about resolutions and whatnot. I think people think, and I do this a lot, in terms of pass fail too much. Like it's either like you went and worked out and therefore you passed, or you didn't go work out and therefore you failed. And everything. And when you do it that way, like there's only 2 scenarios. You either did it and win, or you didn't and you lose. And that can be nice and simple. And that can work for some people. But the other side of it too is like to understand when you're first new to something, like a spectrum can be really helpful. Right? Like you didn't maybe get into the gym for the 45 minutes that you said you would, but you did get in there for 10. Right? That's better than not getting in there.
But you know what they say to me, right?
For improvement, right?
But you know what they say to me all the time? Well, what's the 10 minutes going to do for me?
Well, that's another topic of conversation, is the fact that little steps taken consistently will get you anywhere you want to go on a long enough time frame. Right? Like consistency beats intensity for sure. I would rather take 15 steps a day than take 1,000 steps in one day and then never take another step again. But if every day I just take 15, like I will surpass your 1,000, and I will see you another 1,000 easily. Right? Like I think as a culture, and you see this a lot in entrepreneurship, is like the 10X mindset. You got to go big. You got to go really hard. You got to have like massive action. You hear that all the time. And then people overlook the fact that like the fundamentals are so simple and they don't require massive action. They just require diligence, right? And like actually doing it every single day.
Well, what's interesting is what I try to explain to them about that is I don't need you to look at the 10 minutes. I need you to look at the commitment that you're making to yourself. And that over time and time and time again, because, maybe it's just me, but a lot of my missteps in my early years with alcoholism and stuff was just broken promises of starting and stopping everything I did. And I had no confidence whatsoever. I mean, when I'm just like, well, here you go again. I'm going to sabotage this. I'm going to do this. And it's like continuing to keep those promises to yourself.
Yeah.
For 7 days, 14 days, 21 days. Man, you want to talk about change the whole way you look at so many things in your life.
You know, it's really funny actually on this one, like as you're saying this, like we have a tendency as people to be very careful, I think, and conscious about the promises that we make to other people. You should be very conscious and careful about that because, you know, your integrity is on the line. You don't want to just promise things and then not deliver. So we tend to be guarded and careful when it comes to like, hey, Austin, this is what I can commit to. And maybe we extend ourselves sometimes and we get ourselves, because we never say no. We want to please people. But when it comes to ourselves, what happens in like, especially this time of the year with the New Year's resolutions, is we overpromise to ourselves. We like make these big grandiose promises that it's like, dude, if this was any other person, you would not be promising that because you know you can't keep it. So it's like, let's tone back the promises that we keep to ourselves and first like create the cadence of the muscle that says, I keep my promises to myself because I started small.
I'm going to give you a little window into my coaching. And I'm making a joke the last couple of weeks. A lot of my clients get upset with me because they think I'm trying to get them to slow down and they're not understanding that. No, I'm trying to get you to simplify. Like I had a client, they both have full-time jobs. And I asked the things that they were doing and they must have listed out 35 things they were doing. Coaching with me, 2 masterminds, wholesaling, flipping, doing all these things. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, how many? She goes, and we're still not doing enough. And so, you know what happened at the end of our coaching 3 months, 5 months? We cut out 60% of those things. They're happy as shit. They're making more money than they've ever made. And we simplified it all down. And it's the same thing I did with my coaching. I said, this is what I did for everybody at the end of the year. What are all the goals that you want to complete for next year? You only get to give me 3. That's it. 3 goals, 1 health, 2 business. Now give me the steps to get those done. If it's a great year for you and you do those things, will you be happy? Well, hell yeah, I would. Okay. That's the only thing we're going to focus on. Those things right there. And that done over a 10 to 15 year span is going to create whatever the hell you want to create.
Yeah. This is, God, there's so much here where it's like, I've used this phrase on this podcast a lot. It's from Marcus Aurelius, where the goal of a good life is to do less better. And as you're talking about that, it reminds me of a story Warren Buffett tells, or somebody told about Warren Buffett. I don't even know if this is true or how it came about, but the story is effectively Warren Buffett's pilot comes to him and he's like, how do I get to where you are? Like, what's the key to success? What should I be focusing on? What are those skills or whatever? Or like, how do I have a life of fulfillment and satisfaction? And Warren said, go home and I want you to write out your 25 biggest ambitious goals. What are the 25 things that you want if you could wave that magic wand and have it? And then rank order it 1 through 25. So the pilot goes home, he does this, he like creates this list of 25 things. He comes back to Warren and he's like, okay, now what do I do? Warren looks at him. He's like, okay, take that list, take the first 5 and take the rest and throw them away. But just take those first 5 and those are your only focus. That is your only priority. Until you achieve those things, there is nothing else. Because it's like number 6 through 25 of those things that you want in life are going to hold you back from getting 1 through 5.
Dude, perfect example. And it's so funny that we're having it today. So I would say that for the last 3 years, I've been on a health journey. I've lost like 70 pounds. I'm in good shape. I feel great. But in the last...
You're looking good too. You're looking sharp.
Thank you, bro. In the last 2 days, I brought in a guy I'm helping with investing who's a coach and he owns multiple gyms. This dude's a savage. He's like 6% body fat. He's amazing, right? And I said, hey, I'm ready to take my health to the next level. And let me explain to you, this workout sucked. There's no other ways around it. It was hard. My body's sore. But if I would have tried to approach that workout 2 years ago, I would have gave up and stopped. But I have such a base of consistent work for my fitness that now I'm ready to take it to the next level. But a lot of people in life are trying to take it to the next level before they've even laid down the proper base.
Yeah, it's like when you first start lifting weights or you go into the gym for the first time, if you try to take massive action and just 10x, you're going to hurt yourself or you're just going to fail. You're just not going to be able to move the weight. If you go in there and like, I want to bench press 300 pounds on day one, like but you haven't ever bench pressed before, then good luck. You're just going to get demoralized and you're going to give up. But if you go in there and you lay that foundation, then over time, your abilities escalate. And one of the things I talk about with my rock climbing clients that I used to coach, my students there, was that it never gets easier. You just get better, right? Like regardless of when you're starting, or if you're like the master who's a really good climber, or really like ultra fit person, right? Like it doesn't get easier. The workouts that you have to go and do, they're always hard. You just, the amount that you can move gets bigger, right? So it's like some people, I think they expect to go into the gym and at some point it just starts getting easy. Like they're looking for that time when it won't suck. And it's like, the problem is when it stops sucking, you stop improving.
Yeah.
The suck is a requirement for the improvement.
And you always feel better. And like, I'll be honest with you, like, I'm dealing with a lot of stuff right now that I'm not happy with, like on a couple business deals and here and there. And I hate the feeling I have. I hate the responsibility that I have to owe up to an investor that we didn't do what we said we were going to do. Like all those things. Like I'm not a fan. Like I'm not sleeping good. But I know that there's so many lessons in that. And emotionally, I'm good. Like 2 years ago, you'd put this up against me and it would have unraveled my entire life. But no, it's just something I have to deal with. And I'll be a better investor and better business owner moving forward.
I think it's the Marines have a saying that I think it's just embrace the suck. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a good, like a really good, simple, talking about like taking the complexity and making it simple. Like that's a really good approach to life in general. Mm-hmm. The other day, like really in case in point, how this like really starts to manifest itself in everything that you do. Like I have this concept in my head, which is always one, do hard things. And then number two, do the hard thing first. And so like when you're tackling your day or you're tackling whatever project you're on, like look at the part that's going to be the hardest, or the part that you like, for whatever reason, you're not excited to do, and do that part first. And this manifested because the other day, like we got dumped on with snow, and the street plow had come in and really snowed in the bottom of our driveway. Like it was deep, heavy Minnesota snow. And I went out there with my shovel and I started shoveling like the easy walkway at the door. And then I was like, no, now we got to go do the hard thing first. So went and shoveled the end of the driveway. It doesn't really matter, right? At the end of the day, at what order I shovel the driveway, but it's a mindset of always looking at what you're doing and saying, am I shirking the difficulty right now? Have I embraced the suck truly?
Mm-hmm. I love it. I don't want to add any more. That was perfect. Guys, if you got some value from this, send it to your friend, share it with somebody that will enjoy it, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us here at The Brain Dump. Now, before you go, it's important to solidify what you've learned here today by taking action. If all you do is listen, then you're only going to retain a small amount of the information you consumed here today. So take a quick moment to really lock in any key insights, tidbits, or pieces of wisdom that you want to carry with you into the future. You can do this by heading over to iTunes and leaving a review with your top 3 takeaways from this episode. If you've already left a review, first, thank you so much. Second, it's time to start a brain dump journal. It doesn't have to be fancy, just a slip of paper will do, where you can record a couple quick thoughts from each episode. Science shows this is one of the best ways to ensure long-term retention of new information. And finally, if you've got a brother, a sister, a coworker, or a best friend that you think would benefit from this episode, do them and us a favor and share with them this episode. Your support, as always, means the world to us.